Picture an ancient human, eating with hands covered in dirt and blood.
No soap, no water,
No idea germs even existed.
and somehow humanity survived long enough for you to exist today.
So why didn't they just wash their hands? The answer starts with something terrifying. They couldn't see the enemy.
Bacteria and viruses are invisible without a microscope, and microscopes didn't exist yet. For over 300,000 years of human existence, nobody knew germs were real.
When people got sick, they blamed everything except invisible microbes. Bad air, evil spirits,
Angry gods.
anything but the truth.
So instead of washing hands, they burned herbs, chanted, and prayed.
It felt like doing something, but the real threat was crawling right past them.
Clean water wasn't even a concept.
People drank straight from rivers full of bacteria.
Diarrhea and infection were often just accepted as a normal part of life.
This is one major reason ancient infant mortality rates were so brutally high.
It would take thousands of years and one stubborn doctor to change everything, and his story is far stranger than you'd expect. In the 1840s, a doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis worked in a Vienna maternity hospital.
He noticed something strange. One ward had way more deaths than the other.
Doctors were performing autopsies, then delivering babies, without washing their hands in between.
They were unknowingly carrying deadly particles straight from corpses to new mothers.
Semmelweis had a radical idea.
Wash your hands with a chlorine solution before touching patients. The results were incredible.
Death rates dropped by over 90% almost immediately. He rushed to share this life-saving discovery with the medical world.
And almost everyone rejected him.
Because the idea implied doctors themselves were killing their patients.
And nobody wanted to hear that.
Semmelweis was mocked, ignored, and eventually pushed out of the medical community. He spent his final years in despair, convinced no one would ever listen. Tragically, he died before the world finally understood he was right all along.
Years later, scientists like Louis Pasteur finally proved germs were real.
Suddenly, Semmelweis's forgotten idea became the foundation of modern medicine.
Today,
He's remembered as the father of hand washing. But his story raises an even bigger question. If dirty hands were so dangerous, how did humanity survive for hundreds of thousands of years at all? The answer lies in how differently ancient humans actually lived. Early humans lived in small, scattered groups.
not crowded cities.
Fewer people meant diseases had fewer opportunities to spread from person to person. Nomadic lifestyles also helped. Moving constantly meant less time sitting in accumulated filth.
Everything changed the moment humans started settling down. Permanent settlements meant permanent waste, garbage, sewage, and filth piling up in one place. This attracted rats, flies, and parasites, turning cities into disease incubators.
Suddenly, plagues and epidemics became a regular part of human history. Civilization gave us farming and writing. It also gave us mass infectious disease.
It was a trade-off nobody chose. It just happened as a side effect of progress.
Some ancient cultures did try to fight back. The Romans built elaborate public baths.
They engineered aqueducts to bring in cleaner water than most other civilizations had.
But even they didn't understand germs. Their baths were often shared and still spread disease.
Interestingly, some ancient religions did encourage hand-washing just for entirely different reasons.
Many ancient religions had strict hand-washing rituals before prayer or entering sacred spaces.
Not because they knew about germs,
but because they believed cleanliness pleased the gods.
accidentally, these spiritual practices sometimes reduce disease anyway. Right results for completely wrong reasons. Ancient Egyptians even used oils and herbal extracts, some of which had mild antibacterial properties. Modern researchers later confirmed some ancient remedies actually killed harmful bacteria. Ancient people were stumbling onto real science without ever knowing why it worked.
But without understanding the actual cause, this progress stayed painfully inconsistent.
During the Black Death, doctors wore beaked masks stuffed with herbs, believing bad smells caused disease. The real killer, bacteria carried by fleas and rats, went completely unnoticed. The Black Death alone killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people.
In some regions, that wiped out more than half the entire population. All of this potentially preventable, with something as simple as washing hands. But that simple idea was still centuries away from being understood.
So what finally changed? Let's look at the moment everything clicked. In the late 1800s, Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch changed everything. They proved beyond doubt that specific germs caused specific diseases.
This became known as germ theory, and it flipped medicine upside down overnight. Suddenly, hand washing wasn't just a strange suggestion.
It was backed by undeniable science.
Hospitals that adopted these practices saw death rates plummet almost immediately.
Surgical gloves, masks, and sterilization followed soon after. Global life expectancy began rising faster than at any other point in human history.
Fewer mothers died in childbirth. Fewer children died before their 5th birthday.
One of the most powerful medical tools in human history turned out to be incredibly simple. Soap. Soap doesn't just remove dirt. It physically tears apart the outer membrane of many viruses and bacteria.
It literally destroys the enemy on a molecular level, then rinses the remains away. This humble bar of soap has arguably saved more lives than almost any invention in history.
Some researchers argue it may have saved more lives than antibiotics and vaccines combined.
Billions of lives, saved by something you probably used without even thinking about it. But here's the twist.
Even today, most people still don't wash their hands correctly. Studies show most people wash their hands for less than 5 seconds.
Health experts recommend at least 20 seconds.
Most of us barely make it to 5.
And many people skip soap entirely.
Just a quick splash of water. Water alone barely removes bacteria.
Soap is the part that actually does the work.
Studies have found a shocking number of people don't wash their hands at all after using the restroom, which means every handshake could be a tiny, invisible transaction of bacteria.
Your phone, your keyboard, your door handles all quietly covered in the same invisible world our ancestors never saw.
Some studies found phones carry more bacteria than a toilet seat. Let that sink in for a second. The good news is, the fix is still ridiculously simple.
Experts suggest humming a song twice while washing, just to hit that 20-second mark.
Covering between fingers and under nails matters more than most people realize. Globally, proper hand washing could prevent millions of illnesses every single year.
It remains one of the cheapest, simplest health interventions ever discovered.
Something our ancestors would have given almost anything to understand. So what does all this mean for us today? It means we're living in the safest moment in human history to simply not get sick.
A few generations ago, this level of protection from disease was unimaginable. Something as small as a 30-second habit now protects you like ancient humans could never protect themselves. It took a global pandemic in recent memory to remind millions of people just how powerful this simple habit really is.
Suddenly, something ancient humans never even considered became a worldwide obsession overnight.
It's strange to think this simple habit took humanity 300,000 years to fully understand. One stubborn, mock doctor was right all along.
It just took the world too long to listen.
Semmelweis never lived to see his idea save millions upon millions of lives.
So next time you wash your hands, remember, you're holding one of history's most underrated inventions.
It connects you directly to a battle our ancestors fought blindly for hundreds of thousands of years. A battle you now win every single day, almost without even noticing.
And honestly, that's one of the most underrated superpowers of modern life. So the next time someone rolls their eyes at just wash your hands advice, remember it took humanity 300,000 years and one heartbreaking story to learn that lesson.
Now, let's bring it all together with one final thought.
Let's go back to where we started.
An ancient human, eating with hands covered in dirt. It took 300,000 years, one mock doctor, and millions of preventable deaths to finally understand why that mattered.
Ignaz Semmelweis paid the price so future generations wouldn't have to. Every time you wash your hands, you're using a piece of hard-won human knowledge, a small habit, shared by billions of people, protecting all of us together. So the next time you're standing at a sink, remember what you're really holding back. An invisible enemy that once had no name, and no cure, and no mercy. Today, you defeat it in 30 seconds, without even thinking twice.
Subscribe if you want more stories about the hidden science behind everyday habits. And tell me in the comments, did you know the story of Semmelweis before this video? Share this with someone who still needs a reminder to wash their hands properly.
A small habit.
A massive, hard-fought piece of human history.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.